Alright guys, let's take this thing for a drive. So we are at Milan Dragway today with Acura, testing the new NSX on the quarter mile. Today I just kind of wanted to give you some thoughts on this car, some first impressions. Pretty interesting platform, has a lot of power. I think it sounds really good in here, and it's kind of an interesting driving experience because it combines this hybrid drivetrain with the gasoline engine in the back. We've got some pretty low speed roads today, so we're not going to be able to really push it on the street, but we'll see what we can do. We'll have some fun with it while also just kind of giving some general impressions. So right off the bat, we're starting off in Sport Plus mode here, where it gives you the engine on all the time, as much torque fill power as possible, and you can really hear the exhaust note well. If we kick it into quiet mode, it almost immediately goes straight into EV, and it'll even cruise in full electric up until a certain point. It's basically quiet right now, which in a car that looks like this and feels like this and sounds like this is kind of an eerie and strange feeling. It's good if you want to kind of go sneak out without anyone hearing you, I guess. Put it back into sport mode. You can hear a little bit of turbo whistle there from the exhaust. Just a little bit of blow-off valve there on the overrun. This thing sounds good. Sounds really good. Alright. And it is fast. On the street, it's super quick. This thing just eats up speed and mileage like you wouldn't believe. So apparently a lot of the sound is piped in from the engine bay, but to me, to my ears, it honestly sounds pretty natural. It sounds pretty good. This doesn't feel artificial, or it's a very organic engine note. And it really does fill up the cabin. There is just a lot of good sounds coming from this car. I'm impressed. Quiet things down here into sport mode. Go into quiet mode, things really settle down. Ride's nice and soft. Now in each mode, it'll show you kind of a little graph on the aggressiveness of the suspension, of the powertrain, of the all-wheel drive system, of the suspension and steering and vehicle stability control. In quiet mode, everything's kind of to the left. In sport mode, it's almost like you've leveled up a level in your video game stats, and everything's kind of toward the middle. And then in Sport Plus, everything kind of veers over to the right side of the screen, where suspension and steering are at max. And if you hold it in track mode, you get the full Monty. You get maximum powertrain, maximum oil drive, maximum attack from the batteries at launch. For our purposes, we'll just leave it into Sport Plus here for the street. You also have a mode here where you can switch into full manual. Pedals are really responsive. No real complaints there. Shifts are super fast. I mean, there you go. So let's talk about ride and handling and brakes and steering. The steering has kind of an interesting feel to it. It's a super fast rack. It's very light at low speeds. And I haven't taken it around a whole lot of turns, but feel seems pretty good. It feels like there's just incredibly high limits to this vehicle. We would never get even close to them on these roads. I was talking to one of the test drivers sitting next to me while we were doing quarter-mile launches, and he was saying that you can pretty much fully disable stability control in this car, and it won't re-engage if you get into trouble. So you're kind of on your own, which is pretty neat. And then there's also a more aggressive mode where track will just let you just kind of have a little bit of fun, but it'll still keep an eye on you and keep you safe ultimately. Really sharp turn in. Just so much power at basically every RPM. So what am I not too crazy about? So from a driving experience, I think this car does a pretty good job. One of my complaints, however, is the paddles feel a little bit plasticky, a little bit cheap. They basically, I think they look good, but they're just not the best pedals that I've had. They're not as crisp or maybe as premium as I would like them to feel. They're not bad, but at this price point, I would expect just something a little bit better from Acura. Some of these buttons, so let's go into automatic here. There we go. A lot of this stuff feels like it's been lifted from the Honda Acura parts bin. Many of the buttons just kind of have a plasticky light feel to them. However, I think the overall design of the interior is very impressive. This has kind of a very nice, compact cockpit feel to it. Driving position, however, is excellent. I do like the steering wheel. The carbon fiber on top is really cool. You can still feel some of the weave through the kind of satin polished finish up here. Horn works. Automatic mode is pretty nice. You could very easily drive this without a lot of problems with its automatic tendencies. I think it finds the right gear well. The transmission seems to be programmed pretty well in the few miles that I've driven it. You've got seat heaters here. Nice Alcantara suede inserts. These seats are really, really good. They're super comfortable. They feel like they would keep you in just about anything. They've got a lot of grip. Forward visibility is pretty good. You've got these pretty exotic looking mirrors here. I can see out of the rear window pretty well. I mean, this isn't much different from any SUV rear visibility these days. You've got a navigation, rear view backup camera. With the powertrain technology in this, I think it's a pretty interesting proposition. I mean, it puts down solid performance, solid numbers competitively within the marketplace. You know it's going to be reliable. You know it's going to be dependable, and maintenance is not going to be crazy like a lot of other supercars at this price point. I think in areas that it might be lacking, interior feel, material quality, some of these leather and touch points feel just a little bit aged compared to the rest of the marketplace. But if you can get beyond that, and if that's not a big deal, then I think the powertrain and the performance and just overall driving experience feel of this car makes up for that. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up on the interior. Don't really have a chance to try out the sound system here. Infotainment seems basically the same as everything else we've got. You've got kind of the sliding volume knob, home display with phone integration and navigation and all that stuff. Go in here and get your settings. Seems pretty responsive. Really pretty good response and very seamless response from going from hybrid mode, or basically engine off to engine on, and getting some acceleration out of the car. We're going to take a right here. Experience kind of the limits of quiet mode. We are in EV right now. Let's see how high we can take it up to in pure EV mode. I guess we're no longer in EV. Now we are. We're going to pass this truck here. Again, seamless power. Quiet mode is just that. It's ultra quiet. So here we are cruising at about 46, 45 miles per hour in full EV. That's pretty good. Can I accelerate? If I need to accelerate, it'll put the engine back on. Okay. So I guess you can kind of coast in EV, or if you're off throttle going down a hill, it'll put you into EV mode. But if you need any more power, it's going to turn the engine on. The transition is completely seamless though. That's pretty cool. Alright, while we're here, we've got some runway here. Let's do a quick 0 to 60. Put it into Sport Plus. One thing, brakes are really strong on this. I feel they give you a lot of confidence. Carbon ceramics, of course they would. Oh, feels awesome. Let's do a quick braking test here, might as well. That wasn't max braking, but you get the idea. The combination between electric assist and you hear the turbo spooling behind you, and that twin turbo V6, oh man, it's fun, it's addictive. I mean, really, you're buying this car for the performance. I think it looks amazing. I really love what Acura did with the design on this car. You know, we saw all these different iterations coming out throughout the years up to the launch of this, and I love the way they finally brought things together. I think they did a fantastic job. Even at low RPMs, there's just a ton of power. Ride quality is impressive too. These aren't the smoothest roads out here in the country, and I really don't have any complaints as far as comfort goes. The sound coming from this engine really does make it feel special. Let's not get run over by this tractor here. Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, by now, you know, you guys have heard just about everything that's been said on this car. vibration from traction control back there because there was some gravel on the road, but it didn't care. The all-wheel drive system in this is just, it's a beast. Oh man, that right there, that alone is why you buy an NSX. Not for all this other stuff, not for any of these other reasons that I've been talking about for the last few minutes. That's why you get an NSX. It's crazy. It's a wild ride. All right, back to Milan here. This kind of sneaks up on us. Cool. Well, hey guys, thanks for watching. I've been really excited to get a chance to drive one of these cars. This is kind of a limited thing where this is basically in town for just a day or two, and this is the only opportunity I will probably ever get to get behind the wheel of one of these, at least any time in the foreseeable future. I think high points, I do like the steering wheel. Low points are kind of the overall finishing of things. The powertrain is impressive. I think that's really the big win. That and the design and the look and just kind of overall driving experience feel of this car. It really does deliver a pretty unique experience, and I think that with the tech that you're getting, you could even consider it a bargain in the marketplace when you compare it to stuff that it, with similar type technology like the McLaren P1 and the hypercars out there. Of course, this doesn't have quite the same performance, but you really do get a very futuristic. I think this is kind of the future of the supercar or the hyper sports car, so to speak. Impressive stuff. Thanks to Honda Acura for letting me have a go on this today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And stay tuned for another video coming soon. See you guys later.